I would like to share some of the information that I learned today. So, as a parent of an autistic child, we get continuous training from time to time. And today, the training we had was about AAC. I've heard of it before. I wasn't sure what is it, what do they mean by it, and how is it used, or how is it going to be implemented in his life. The AAC, it is a way of a communication. So they model the child with some form of communication, whether it's a card or communication boards. When I say card, like as in picture exchange, or the communication board or the device. It's called core board that they use in school. So they are like pictures, small pictures next to each other, and then they are laminated, and then they show the children. So for example, if a child wants to go to the toilet and they not speak, they are non-verbal, though all these children can't speak, or the majority at least, they have to show the card. What do they want? Food? What type of food? What do they like? I want, there's a sign of I want this or I want that, and then they try to show the children. It's interesting to see how the future developing in accepting everyone in our communities, which is great, and it should be the case. But it has only been implemented recently in some of the schools. Some do and some don't yet. So it's it's quite new to a lot of the parents, especially to the parents that don't know much about autism in general. And that's why they call it a spectrum, because every person will have a different story of their child, a different needs. So they try and model these communication to the children, and they use it. Today, we were told, if the child is looking at an image, you have to point to it. For example, there's the color red here. I say red. So I have to say, every time he points on a picture, I have to say, what is it? Red. Green. And then they ask for more green, more green. Every time they communicate with us, those children, we say one word, simple language has to be used, so then they can also learn with time what are these called. Some devices also have the sound, so when you press on the color red, it says red. It also says for them the colors. The device itself can say that to you. That's in terms of the device, the iPad. The other communication that I was talking about that my child is using now, it's called a core board. So it's like a paper laminated, and it has all the communication, the most important things that they want him to learn, and they keep showing him, and I will have to use it also at the same time at home, so he can understand, this is a way of a communication until one day you speak, and if not, God forbid, then, we also have developed a communication between us. So then what we were advised today is to add words later on and then extend to phrases. We start with simple words, color, more, color, and then you add extra. I am not a professional. I am only telling you what I have learned today. So I haven't been trained myself. I'm giving you my feedback of the training that I have received today. So they said, use it yourself, allow exploring time for the children, and provide them with time. Focus on keywords when modeling the language, and use well-designed research-based vocabulary. It has to be available for them So once you start using these methods, you need to have, for example, if it's an iPad, you need to make sure that it's there, it is available for them to use. You don't hide it, you don't put it away, and don't put other things in it. So for example, the iPad would be used only for communication, not for watching, not for games, not for, only for the communication application that's been installed in it, and nothing else. It's easier that way. There was another way that I was told today, that you can go through the setting and change the setting that is locked, so they are only have access to that, and then once you want them to use something else, you have to unlock it. But not to cause confusion, it's better to leave the iPad just for the communication and nothing else if possible. The app to install can be installed on iPad, on Apple, or Kindle, I heard today. And the app's name, the application name, is called TD Snap. TD Snap. And it costs around £120. So some schools say they will help some families, especially if they see the families are in need for that sort of devices, and if the children are showing interest in using this method of communication, because they say if the child is happy to use picture exchange, we leave them with picture exchange, especially if they are little, then it's more suitable for their age to use their hand, like they want them to use the hand, they want them to use their motor skills in a way. And if they're not interested in picture exchange at all, they don't want to use the picture exchange, it doesn't relate to them, and in the house you just feel like the pictures are everywhere, you can't take it with you, it's waste of time. You use the core board, which everything is in a page and laminated, and again you have to take it with you every time. And then if that's also not in the child's interest, and that child is showing interest in devices and show really well how to use it and communicate through it, the school can give it a try and can tell you, actually, your child showing interest in using a device, an iPad, so we could recommend you to start it at home. So I met some parents today that their kids are 6 years old and told me, even with an iPad, when they get home, they don't want to take it off their bag. They refuse to take it off their bag. It is for school only. So I think my advice is for new parents to start it early. As soon as the school starts it, at home is also used. So then it's everywhere he goes or she goes, wherever your child is, they know that they can communicate to the parents and can communicate to the teachers the same method, the same way. So always is, I think, very, very important that you speak to the teachers, you speak to the therapist in the school and see what they are offering. Email them, just be on top of it to understand. As I said, there's a free version that you can download, but it doesn't have the speaking element. It wouldn't make the words. It wouldn't say, for example, red, green, like the colors or the things that you want them to say. So it has to be very basic, very simple to start with. And then in the future, you can also get trained how to put your own pictures that your child will understand. For example, if my son's favorite toy is piano, I can take a picture of the piano. I can write the word piano under it and add it to the device. And then if he wants it, he goes on the piano, the image, and he press piano. I know he's looking for his piano. If my child is using a different way of communication at the time, even if he's trained to use the iPad, and he showed me, for example, he's holding the piano is not switched on, and he's showing to me, I won't wait for him to go and use the device. No, I will offer help straight away. I will put the piano on, for example, if there's something that he wants, food, and he showed me. So this is another way of communication, which is using objects, you know. So he referenced using objects, and this is where my son is at the meantime. This is where his stage is. He's using objects. He wants the peanut butter. He reach out for the peanut butter, and he knows exactly what everything is, and I try to keep everything where it needs to be, so he knows, you know, like if he takes me to the fridge, I know he wants some fruits or some snacks, and then I show him as well, like, do you want this or do you want this? And then if he takes me to the cupboard where the peanut butter is, for example, which is his favorite, then I know this is where his peanut butter is, and I take it for him. This is not something that I was trained to do. This is something that I understood that it's a way of a communication, and if he's trying to communicate with me, I don't stop. However, there are feelings obviously involved that I don't know and I don't understand. For example, if he's angry, if he's upset, if he's tired, if he's sleepy, I don't figure it out all the time. I sort of like manage to figure out the food in terms of when he's hungry. If we're not in the house and he carries his bag for me, I can figure out there's something to do with food again. So like food and drink, I got to know, you know, I got to a way of communication. But feelings, if he's warm, if he's like, I'm still trying to figure out all these communications that he's trying to tell me. That's where I will need something like this, and for more communication in the future as well. And when he's growing older and he needs to tell me more. So I say, speak to your school, especially if you are in a specialist school. Speak to them and see what sort of communication they use with your child. If your child is diagnosed with autism, or you think they are on the spectrum, try and see and use it yourself at home and see if it's working. If not, again, go back and seek some help. The one thing that I must say as a mother here living in the UK is that if you don't ask, you don't get. You don't get help if you're not asking, if you're not speaking, if you're not loud, you know, about all of these things. So your child can turn 6, 7, and you're still not sure of how to find a communication, of what to do next, of, you know. So all these things are very important. Today I'll leave it as that. Next time I'll speak to you about other things that I have had experience of in the past or future trainings. If you find this is useful, and if you have any recommendation or any advice or any experience similar to myself, please do write for me in the comment. Thank you very much. Have a good day.